Hello, everyone. Charlotte Adler here with the National Sports Media Association. Today, I'm here with Gene Deckerhoff, 2022 Florida Sportscaster of the Year and 16-time award winner. Congratulations on this huge accomplishment again, and thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you, Charlotte. And it's always great to visit with fellow broadcasters and sports writers in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. It's a special occasion, and it doesn't matter if it's your first award or your 16th award. It's always great to visit with fellows and ladies that do the same thing that I do, and I've been doing it for a long time. I may be the oldest guy at the convention this year.
Yeah, thank you.
No, Lee Corso's, he's older than me.
Can you tell us a little bit about what it means to you to win this award?
Well, number one, it means that your fellow announcers in the state of Florida, your fellow sports writers in the state of Florida say, old Gene does a pretty good job, and he should be our Sportscaster of the Year for the Sunshine State. And it is indeed an honor. As I say, whether it's your first time, your 10th time, your 16th time, it's a very special honor to be recognized by your peers that do the same thing you do for a living in the state of Florida.
For sure. Can you tell us how you got into broadcasting, and was this always a passion of yours?
Well, I played basketball on a basketball scholarship, and the radio station that broadcast our games also knew that I was on the debate team. And the program director, who was the play-by-play announcer, came to me after the final game of my freshman season and says, "Hey, Gene, I know you can talk because you're on the debate team. Have you ever thought about getting into radio?" I said, "Well, I hadn't, but let me think about it." Yeah. And studied hard, got the broadcast license, and started working weekends at a small station in Palatka, Florida, and have been involved in radio almost every year since then. That would have been 1964.
Wow. So in looking into your background, I see that you have been in the industry for almost 50 seasons of not only Florida State athletics, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as well. Is there a specific season of any of those teams that you covered that particularly stands out to you?
Well, the first season at Florida State, 1979, FSU went 11-0. We stubbed our toe in the Orange Bowl in a game against Oklahoma. Wow. And that was a perfect season, regular season for Bobby Bowden. And for me, it was a perfect season as the play-by-play voice of Florida State football. I had been doing basketball for 5 years prior to 79. And so that was a special year. It will always be a special year. Unbeaten season, 11-0. I had to come from behind in a couple of those games, but that was special. And obviously, working with Coach Bowden was very special in my life and for me. And we'll never forget Coach Bowden. But we moved on to 1999, which was Bobby Bowden's first unbeaten season, wire-to-wire, number one in the country. The only time that's ever happened in the Associated Press rankings. And so that stands out. And then 2002, Super Bowl 37, the Buccaneers beat the Oakland Raiders at the time, 48-21. And then fast forward to 2013, Florida State knocks off Auburn and wins the final BCS national championship. That's obviously going to be right. The catch caught. Kelvin Benjamin with about 17 seconds left to go in the game. A tremendous come from behind. And then fast forward from 2013 to 2020. That was the COVID year. We had limited attendance at stadiums. We broadcast remote, both Florida State and Tampa Bay. And lo and behold, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady won Super Bowl 55, and we were the first team to host. So those are the seasons that stand out. But every season is different, and every season has memories in it. And golly, but I will pick those 5 seasons to be my favorite.
Wow. All really successful seasons, it sounds like. So after 48 seasons covering Florida State University basketball and 43 covering Florida State football up until this past year, I can imagine your weekends have really opened up. How has this been for you, being able to watch these games without being responsible for play-by-play coverage?
I have enjoyed being a fan of the Florida State Seminoles. And I was able to make it to 3 games this year because of, NFL conflicts. And the 3 that I made it to, Georgia Tech, the Bucks had played on a Thursday night. We played Georgia Tech on Saturday. Mm-hmm. The trip to Munich, the NFL, it gives you a bye week when you have to travel to Europe and come back. So we were open after Munich, and Florida State hosted Louisiana. And then the following week was a Friday night game, Florida State, Florida, huge rivalry game. And I was able to go to all 3 of those games, and we won all 3.
Oh, wow.
And I think Coach Norvell says I need to come to all those games, but I'm do another season of Buccaneer football. I've already bought my tickets, same seats, and I hope to at least see 1 or 2 games this year. I've been to 6 basketball games now, and to be honest with you, it's it's quite a feeling to watch a game from the stands and cheer and get the war chant going and be able to have a little adult beverage too, and enjoy the game that way. I've got some great friends that I have 4 seats, and they're up pretty high in the Tucker Center. But I've been invited by friends to sit down almost courtside, so I've thoroughly enjoyed the six-pack. Now the Knowles have not won, but one of those games I've been to in basketball. But maybe we'll turn that around the rest of the season. I enjoy being a fan, Charlotte. I really enjoy being a fan and love being around Florida State fans and Buccaneer fans.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you have any advice for young sportscasters and those who aspire to get to where you are now?
Well, the number one thing is I always say, and this is the words of wisdom, and I'm not the first one to say it, but you have to learn the language. You have to read as much as you can, have to write as much as you can. Even though you're a broadcaster, you still have to write when you're preparing. You have to write notes. And nowadays, people say, what do you mean write? I just type in a computer. Well, work with a computer, but you have to know language, expand your vocabulary. And the only way you can do that is by reading extensively, and not just sports. You have to read fiction. You have to read nonfiction. I'm a big history buff. Try to learn another language, even though you're not going to use it. I'm trying to learn Italian for 15 years. I can't speak a lick of it, but I still try, Charlotte. And so that's the language part of it. Get behind a microphone, even if it's not even attached to anything, is in front of a camera, in front of a computer. The computers are so great now. When I was learning how to be a TV announcer, I didn't have a computer and that little Photoshop thing or whatever it's called, a photo booth. You could talk to yourself and see whether you're smiling or grinning or frowning, and then you can record yourself too. I mean, it's much easier to prepare for a career when you have the technology that we are blessed with now. I wish we'd have had this 35 years ago, but we did not, or 40 years ago, or 60 years ago. But that's the number one thing. Secondly, math. I'm not talking about quantum physics. I'm not talking about algebra. I'm talking about math, adding 2 + 2, dividing 4 by 2. And because sports, obviously, there's a number of statistics. If you do baseball, he's 1 for 3, 333. But that kind of mathematics, and particularly football, basketball. A guy's made 2 of 6 3-point shots. That's a 33%. That's below his average of 30. But anyway, you get the point. And it's first down and 10, and then you gain 3 and second down and 7. So you have to be able to, do some math. So fundamental math, and do it repeatedly. And one thing when I first started doing basketball is you get these 69 to 54 scores. You're going to be able to add what the difference is in those. I can't tell you what it is right now, but that's the kind of math that you need to develop. And then I always say, even if you're 14, 15, 16, 18 years old, mind your mom and dad and do what they tell you to do. And above all else, learn every day of the week from your teachers, your professors. Take in what you can get from your fellow students that are trying to do the same thing you're trying to do. So that's the category. Learn the language, develop the language, those speaking skills behind a microphone in front of a camera. Do the math and do add, subtract, divide, multiply, and be comfortable with mathematics. So you can do it almost, as a matter of just nature. It comes just like nature. And then the third thing is you got to obey rules, and the rules begin at home with your family and with your mom, with your dad. If you have a single parent, with your mom or with your dad, get along with your brothers, because you're going to have to get along with fellow broadcasters in your career, and obey the rules. That's the number one thing. Learn there are certain words you can't use on the radio. If you do, you're not in the radio business for much longer than that. But those are the 3 most critical things, I think, and they're the rules of life. And I particularly am a religious guy, so I say, live by the golden rule, and do unto others that have others do unto you, and live by those rules. Follow the 10 commandments, and you can have a career in anything. It doesn't matter whether it's sports broadcasting, sports writing. If you're a producer behind the camera, it just, those are basic rules of life. And that's how I live. And by the way, learn how to travel a lot in this business. I used to always kid folks that there's certain courses you need to take in college, junior college. U-Haul 107, that's how to pack a U-Haul and drive to the next city where you get your next broadcasting job. And also resume writing 307. That's how to update your resume and your resume tape and get ready for that next job opportunity that comes down the way. Those are some items that I've lived. Charlotte, I haven't made a resume in probably oh golly, I'll bet you 45 years. But I've been fortunate. I've been blessed. I've been offered jobs. I've accepted jobs, and the jobs have been good to me. And hopefully, I guess I've been good to the job.
That's all great advice. I really appreciate it. Is there someone in particular in this business who helped you get to where you are today? Obviously, you've done a fantastic job on your own, but is there anyone in particular who mentored or guided you?
Uh, my family was not in broadcasting, but my dad was an aviation technician in the U.S. Navy, and he was always around electronics. And that always used to amaze me. He had in our closet in the living room when I was in the, I guess in the ninth grade, eighth grade, ninth grade. No, I was in the no. Oh, I beg your pardon. Fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade. He always had a shop in the living room closet, and it had oscilloscopes and all these test equipment, and it just sort of fascinated me. And so, ironically, my dad, when he was in high school at Mineral Ridge High School in Ohio, his legacy note, under your annual, it says he has a great future in radio. My dad was in radio from the technical side of it, and his son was in radio from the broadcast side of it. And
Wow.
there are no more broadcasters, Charlotte, in my family, no more sports writers in my family. My boys are my grandsons and one granddaughter. They all like sports, love sports, cheer the Knowles on, but they're not going to be broadcasters.
Okay. Wow.
There's probably something good about that, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And last question here before we wrap up. How would you describe yourself in one or two words? And is there a certain mindset that helped you to get to where you are today?
I mentioned my dad, and I would be very remiss if I did not say Coach Bobby Bowden and Coach Tony Dungy, two of the finest human beings on this planet. Both have been very important in my life as a broadcaster. Both have taught me a number of things that I probably couldn't do the job that I do without the knowledge that they have given to me. Their lifestyle was absolutely marvelous. I miss Bobby Bowden to this day. August the 8th, 2021, Bobby passed away, and I miss him every day. And Tony Dungy is keeping on doing his thing. I watch him and enjoy watching him on Sunday Night Football and his commentary, but he was a remarkable coach and just a tremendous person to be around. Those are the people that have really made my career what it is, whether it's success, awards, or anything. Those are the two gentlemen and my family, my mom and dad, that have made Gene Deckerhoff who Gene Deckerhoff is, and I am so thankful for that.
Great. Well, Gene, thank you so much for being here today. It was really great chatting with you, and congratulations again on winning this award.
Thank you very much. Go Knowles, go Bucks, fire them cannons.
Yep.